So then after that, once you finished, how long you worked as a management consultant?
Less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Yes.
And when did you feel that, okay, I need to now enter an entrepreneurship journey? Or is it that, when did you move to Groupon?
So I didn't feel anything. What I felt was when you're in a management consultancy company, the way it works is there's certain levels. So you start as a junior associate, senior associate, then you move on the ranks as a manager, senior manager, you move on the ranks associate partner, junior partner, senior partner, all those things. And I realized quite quickly that my brain and my scoreboard doesn't match that kind of system, because I had a review process. Finished the first year, speak to my partner. The partner talks like, great job, incredible. Here's your promotion. You get a 8% increase, and I'm like, and he's like, and you get a bonus. But I got a bonus last time. But this bonus will be smaller. Why is it smaller? Because you can't give you a big bonus every time. I'm like, well, if this is the bonus for this year and the promotion is only 8%, then I'm making less money than I did last year, although I did a good job. He's like, buddy, sorry, this is how this works.
Unfortunately, that's how corporate operates.
And when he said that phrase, I looked at him and he looked back at me. He's like, yeah, I don't think this is the right place for you, which I'm very, very grateful for, because I had a very good relationship with him on a private level. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to sit around here for the next 3-4 years asking for promotions that are out of hand, that are not standard for you guys. I probably have to move on. And we both knew that. So I was fortunate enough that at this moment, the largest VC in Europe, called Rocket Internet, who just acquired stake in Groupon, was hiring very, very young talent, called the young talent.
And you were 26 at that time?
When they hired me, I was 25, 26, yeah. And they hired me to join Groupon.
And were your parents guiding you any point of time on your career? Or is it that you were taking all these decisions independently?
So I have a very close relationship from a career perspective with my dad.
Okay.
There's a lot of back and forth. So certainly there is some sort of mentorship going on there.
Okay.
He never was in a corporate environment. So he was very early on already entrepreneurial. So he would always push me towards entrepreneurship. So when we had those corporate discussions, his feedback was very, very, why are you even dealing with all this stuff? Why don't you just do your own thing?
Okay.
And I was like, you don't understand the platform and the status and the opportunities that I'm getting here. I mean, Groupon at that moment, 2011, was on the cover of Forbes magazine in the US as the fastest growing company ever. Right. We did the IPO end of 2011 with a market cap of tens of billions of dollars. Wow. So I was part of something humongous. I had shares in the business because I joined them pre-IPO. I was at 26.
So you got an ESOP?
I was well off at 26. I didn't have to work at 26.
Wow.
I mean, that's done. So I'm like, I understand entrepreneurship, but this is really working out well for me.
And on the other side, your dad is fueling your feathers.
Yeah,
your
dad
wings,
is like,
in fact.
yeah, typical. There's this saying, don't work for the uncle. The uncle meaning don't work for the big brother. Do your own thing, create your own thing. And there was always interesting back and forth. We had this conversation when I started my career. He's like, if you don't do anything big enough in the first 5 years, just join the family business. We'll do something bigger there. So 2.5 years into my career, I became the youngest CEO of a public trade company in 48 countries. I was then on the cover, not on the regional. It was in Forbes. It was like all over the place. And I called him back and I'm like, dude, I think I'm good. And he's like, yeah, you're good. Yeah, we don't need to. We don't continue. So it was cool. It was a cool moment.
And when did you feel that, okay, it's time for me now to move on independently?
That thing comes around. So I became at around 32, 33. I realized that I'm corporate. I'm done. So I did this for 10 years. I'm good. I was CEO of the biggest companies. I know it's the same year, the same thing.
Correct.
Budget, 10,000 people, you're responsible, you impact. But I don't create value. I create value for somebody else. I create value for shareholders, but I don't create my own value. So I wanted to actually build something that creates value that I can embody, that I aligns with my mission and vision on life itself and what we do. And I realized the only two things that I'm really passionate about is education and health. Okay. That's the only two things I really, really...
So you always felt that you need to get more educated.
And not just educated myself, education in terms of what would I create for others is to create a template or a situation where they can learn how to learn those skills that I talked about.
I understand.
Be better in the situation that they're around. So everything that I would create would be around education and health, to promote education and health, to teach education and health, and to set up a certain, I think, system for other people to duplicate and learn quicker than what's currently out there.
And your background was completely wired as far as health is concerned. So, I mean, because you were a sportsman. But so maybe that's where it all actually was coming out, saying that, I mean, health was something which, because of health, I was not able to play a professional sport. and maybe something that was driving you towards health. And on the other side, learning was also your passion of, I think, even while you were playing, you were learning or educating yourself. So maybe I think the two collaborated nicely.
Again, I think everyone's path impacts your desires. I think the exposure to what's out there in the market in terms of rejuvenation, recovery was opened up my eyes to understand that the market is ever changing. So it definitely played a role in it. How much of a role in it, I don't know. But I knew that at 32, 33 was like, it's the moment to move on from the corporate structure, move on from, the monthly salaries, the vacation time, the days off and all that stuff. That becomes very, very like a golden cage.
Correct.
Because it's just like every year it becomes the same, just a little bit more lush, a little bit more, the titles are nicer, the suits are nicer, but it's not really, the life is not changing.